Hi, everyone. So today I'd like to do a love reading for you and the person in your life. So my intention for this reading is for your energy to be on this side of the table and your person's energy to be on this side. So that's the intention for the reading. But if you feel as though the energies are being crisscrossed, then go ahead and feel free to switch the energies around. Okay. So if we go ahead and look at your energy in this situation, you're showing up as the Strength in the reverse. And your person is showing up as the Chariot in the reverse. So this is very obvious to me that this is a spiritual connection. You both have shown up as major arcana. Although it sounds as though you're both kind of equally resisting the call, let's say. With the Strength in the reverse, it's telling me that there is something that you have not yet mastered in this situation, that there's something that is meant to have your attention drawn to it, or maybe perhaps the way that you're looking at it, something along those lines that you're resisting. But it appears as though your person has a very similar energy here. With the Chariot in the reverse, it's telling me that your person is not being very disciplined when it comes to this relationship, or perhaps putting in a concerted effort towards trying to, if there are problems, perhaps fix the problems, something along those lines. But you're showing up in pretty equal energies here as far as how you're approaching the situation. So the way you think that your person is having trouble making up their mind, or perhaps even, so the way you're seeing your person is the Seven of Cups, and your person is showing up as the 7 Chariot in the reverse. So there's a 7 that matches the 7 here. So it tells me that you're pretty accurately seeing the situation, in the sense that your person seems to be not very disciplined in making up their mind. And that's exactly how they're showing up in the energy. So it seems as though, however you're thinking or feeling about your person at the moment, about the level of maybe seriousness or the level of discipline that they're putting towards the situation, is not as much as you think that they should be. And they're seeing you as the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is basically telling me that they think that you are not taking advantage of the situation. So there's definitely, I don't want to say that there's mirroring going on, because it might be a little too early to say that specifically. But so far it kind of feels like you both feel the same way about each other, and you're showing up the same way, that you're maybe, both of you are maybe 1 foot in and 1 foot out. But maybe we can get some more energy to see if we can get some more clues about what's going on. So you are feeling, this is interesting. Your feelings came up as the King of Swords, and their feelings came up as the Knight of Swords. And the way that I've been reading all of this energy, it feels as though it's kind of following what I've been getting already, that you guys are kind of showing up in exactly the same energy, that you're feeling swords and your person is feeling swords. So why is that? Why are we not feeling cups? Why are we not feeling emotions? And I get the sense, because with the 3 of Cups showing up in the reverse over here, I think that you tend to know that this is over, but you're maybe not sharing it with your person, that you know that this is just over, that this is the end. So I do sort of feel that that's why you're showing up a little bit, not a little bit swordsy, a lot swordsy. And I think your person may be responding to you, is a message I just got, that they're showing up in a swordsy way because you're showing up in a swordsy way. And they're being undisciplined because you're showing up in this, that you've just given up. Your energy is more of one that's given up. And your person's energy is showing up as just, kind of being a little bit stubborn about it. I don't want to say childish, but it may be that they're just reacting to the situation instead of responding in the way that they really would prefer to, or maybe honestly tell you. Because with the moon showing up in the reverse on their side, this is a pretty clear indication to me that they are not willing to get out of their comfort zone. And if one is not willing to get out of their comfort zone when it comes to being in a relationship with another person, then there's a really good chance that they're not going to get what they're hoping to get out of it. And that may be explaining a lot of your energy of why you're giving up, why you're not really showing your hand, but you do feel like it's probably over, that this situation maybe has already run its course, and that you have given up and that you're wanting to give up. And maybe the only reason you're still here and asking about this situation could be because you feel as though there is a spiritual call behind it. But I don't think you know how much longer you're going to last in this situation, especially if this person, your person, is unwilling to be disciplined enough to put the effort that is needed in order to move this relationship forward. It gives me the sense that maybe you feel like you have done all the work and that you're literally just like losing your energy to do it anymore. And so when you started showing up as the King of Swords, they started showing up as the Knight of Swords. And it's just like, you know, those people who argue and you say something like, well, I'm tired of you never taking my calls. And then they say, well, I'm tired of you never taking my calls. And you think, well, that doesn't make any sense. You know how people who argue like that, that's the energy that I feel coming off of this table right now, is that your person's doing it because you're doing it, or crisscross the energy if you need to. But I feel like the person on this side, or your person, is really not willing to look at the situation and not willing to face their fears, which is, I think, would be the final piece in this, is that they would need to really face their fears in order to tackle the situation in the most appropriate way. So, but let's keep going. So, I do think that you have just stopped putting all effort. You're showing up as the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse is what you're bringing to the table. And this is someone who has just stopped putting any effort in whatsoever. And I think that you have your own reasons for not putting the energy in anymore. But it's interesting that your person is showing up as the Wheel in reverse is what they're bringing to the table, because it's almost giving this feeling like they're purposefully trying to set things backwards in motion. Because if what you're bringing to the table is reverse action, then it makes me feel as though your person is almost self-sabotaging or trying to make things difficult. And people have their own reasons, believe it or not, for making things not work that they want to work. So I think we don't necessarily have to spend too much time on why this person may be doing this, but I think there's a real need for you to look at the fact that they are doing it. And maybe you already know that, which is why you're thinking, oh my gosh, I keep working to try to make this relationship work. And then you send us, I take 2 steps forward and you take 2 steps back, and you feel like maybe you're getting nowhere and you're just running out of strength. You're running out of energy to keep it going. And this is also giving me the feeling of someone who's like stuck on a hamster wheel, or someone who's just stuck in a cycle, stuck in a rut, and they can't get out of it. And it gives me the impression that your person is putting forth that type of energy towards the entire relationship, towards the entire situation. And I think that this 5 of Cups in reverse is the problem. It's keeping you two apart, in the sense that there's one or both of you, probably both of you, because it's showing up in the center, is unwilling to learn an emotional lesson here. The 5s are always about lessons and teaching us growth through change. And the 5 of Cups is a time for you to really reflect on hurt feelings and wounds and regrets that you may have from the past. And it seems as though neither one of you is really willing to look at the fact that you may need to grow and learn from this and not just stay here just because. And especially if I'm looking at you over here with your Three of Cups in the reverse, if I already know that you know it's over, then my question to you is, why are you still here? And I know we touched on the fact that you feel that there may be a spiritual aspect to this. However, there is a time when you have to realize that it's relationships take two. It's a two-way street. And even if you know you've heard the call, your person has free will. And if they're not willing to hear the call, then there's nothing that you can do about that anyway. And the universe is going to send you a different calling. So, but I think with this showing up here, it really is this need to learn the lesson of just moving on. Especially with the Four of Pentacles showing up here too. It looks as though you're both holding on to something very tightly. And you probably both have your individual reasons for wanting to hold on very tightly to the relationship. And it could be anything. It could be anything to everyone who's watching. But I do feel that there is a need here to recognize that you're both holding on perhaps for all the wrong reasons. And under the deck, I'm showing the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. So again, no one's putting in any effort. No one's putting in any work to make this relationship work. And it seems like you know you're unhappy and your person is basically just mirroring back to you or projecting back onto you what you think about them. And it doesn't feel very productive. So yeah, I get the sense that this is, you're just going to continue to be sent back to go if you stay in this relationship. That every time you think, okay, well, maybe this is now working, you realize very quickly that it's not. And it's like you just keep starting over with your hopes high again. And then you end up in the same spot is the energy that I'm really getting from this, that none of your wishes are really being fulfilled. You're not emotionally happy. You've got the Three of Cups in reverse. You've got the Five of Cups in reverse. We've got the Seven of Cups and the Moon in reverse. All of our emotional cards are not very fulfilling emotionally. And the way that you're both feeling is very swordsy. So it almost feels like, to me, what are you getting out of this? And why are you still holding on when there could be something else or something better or a different way outside of this particular connection? And I do sort of think that if you were to release it, maybe more of the truth might start coming out. If you two really are meant to be, then of course you're going to find your way back together again. But I think the real call here is to release. And I think that you're carrying a lot of the burdens of this relationship and carrying a lot of the weight of this relationship. And it may be why things feel unbalanced to you, or it may feel like you're getting nowhere and that you're just getting, you've dropped all the work. You're saying, no, I'm done. I don't want to have to continue to put work into this anymore, because you've lost all your strength and your will to even do it. So I would say just take your own advice and listen to yourself. When you know that you don't have the strength to do it, you're not putting forward any effort, you know it's over, your person is undisciplined, and you're feeling very swordsy. I mean, this is your energy. So this is telling me that you already know this, that maybe you just needed the confirmation. So I do want to pull a few cards to see if we can get a little bit more confirmation or some more clues about what's happening here. But this does feel like a pretty clear reading to me. Oh my gosh, I just made a total mess of these cards. So let me just put that back together again. All right, let's try that again. So let's see. So your person has love and you have wedding rings. That is so interesting. So I'm wondering if now that you have a lot of history with this person, because with wedding rings showing up here and love on their side, there's obviously a lot of affection and a lot of love that this person has for you. So whatever has gone on, as far as your person's self-sabotaging ways or whatever it is that's happening here, your person is clearly very much in love with you. And that may be why you're holding on hope that perhaps this is going to work out, because you know that their heart is in the right place. But when I look at just the energy on the table and I think of the self-sabotage that they're bringing, and the sabotage that they're bringing, not just self-sabotage, but they're sabotaging perhaps the entire relationship. And if they're projecting onto you what you're feeling about them, then there's really something here that needs to be addressed. And with wedding rings showing up here and a union and a marriage, I do tend to think that you have a long history with this person. Perhaps you even are married to this person. And that may be another reason why it's hard to let it go or let them go. So that it may explain to me a lot about why neither one of you is really willing to let this go, because you feel like there's so much history and so much love and all of the other things. But this feels like very unbalanced. This feels almost even very unhealthy, in the sense that if your person can't address what's wrong in the relationship and all they can do is project back onto you, or again, like I said, crisscross the energy if you need to. But this feels like this could use the help of some kind of therapist, some kind of counselor, especially if you do want to try to get things back to a healthy ground, if they once ever were on a healthy ground. So, but I do think you two have a lot of nostalgia. I think there's a lot of memories between the two of you I'm picking up on. So that might explain a lot of what's happening here too. So let me get a couple of heart healing messages before we wrap it up, so that maybe we can get a little more advice, because I would hate to tell you to just, throw in the towel of something that's important and then when there's a lot of love there. But again, you also need to listen to what I've already said, that you already know. You have figured out what is wrong, and you're trying to convey that to this person, and all they're doing is projecting it back. So if you think it's over, sometimes it is okay just to let it go. And the advice here feels like that's the advice. But again, everyone's situation is a little different. And I think there's a need to really consider what that means to you. So on your person's side, we have curious heart, and on your side, we have knowing heart. So with the curious heart, it says embark on a great adventure. And this is what I mean when I said that your person is really struggling to face their fears about something. And I think that with the curious heart and embark on a great adventure, this is them perhaps starting to face their fears. And that's where I feel like perhaps the help of some kind of a mentor, some kind of person who can give you guidance in this relationship might be able to help them really kind of break out of their comfort zone, or whatever they need to do in order to address what's really going on here, instead of just looping back to you what you've already said to them and pretending like that's how they feel in the situation. And then for you, you have knowing heart. Heed your intuition, which is exactly what I was saying to you, that I think you already know what's happening here and what you need to do. And that your knowing heart knows that perhaps this is the end, even though it might be incredibly painful to admit that to yourself. But again, I think, every situation is going to be a little bit different. And the amount of time and effort that you want to invest and spend in trying to repair things is also completely going to be unique to each situation. And I also wanted to show you that at the bottom of this deck, it says divinely connected heart, which says meet your karma. So if you'll recall, I did say that you feel that there is a spiritual connection here. Well, I want you to also consider that the spiritual aspect for you could be that you need to listen to your intuition when you know. If you know it's time to go, that could be what you're spiritually being called to do. But again, it's going to depend on everybody's unique situations. But I'm just trying to offer different perspectives on how this could go going forward, that you can either heed your intuition and know that this is just karmic for you, or you can decide if you want to wait to see if your person is going to embark on facing their fears and getting over all this bull that they bring towards the situation. Like, it's time to be real, or else you know that it's over and you're giving up and you're not going to do the work anyway. So I really think you just have to decide at what point you're still going to be willing to tolerate it, and see how it goes from there. So thank you so very much for being here and for listening. And please let me know if this was resonant for you, and we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye.